In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 26, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Florida State versus Virginia. The Florida State Seminoles are headed to Charlottesville for a Friday night showdown against the Virginia Cavaliers, and this one has the feel of a dangerous road trip. It is the start of a packed weekend slate, and it features a classic contrast, a polished powerhouse getting plenty of hype against an upstart squad that believes it can make noise in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Virginia reshaped its roster through the transfer portal, and the payoff is showing early. Veteran quarterback Chandler Morris is steering an offense that has been among the most efficient in the country. The Cavaliers are hitting at a high rate on 3rd and 4th downs, scoring consistently on quality drives, and stacking points with confidence. Head coach Tony Elliott has plenty of faith in this unit, and the matchup lines up with Florida State's weak spot, the secondary. The Seminoles are stout against the run, but their pass defense has been middle of the pack, and teams like Alabama have already exposed it. On the other side, Florida State's offense has looked sharp from the opening week. They move the ball, finish drives, and keep the pressure on defenses. Virginia's defense grades out average in the rushing success and early down categories, so the Seminoles will have chances to score. The risk for Florida State is letting this game become a track meet. If that happens, the Cavaliers are dangerous enough to keep the back door wide open, especially with the short turnaround and the Miami rivalry looming on the schedule. Florida State deserves to be favored because of overall talent, but this will be their first real road test. Virginia has already proven it can hang with good teams, and if not for a late stumble against NC State, the Cavaliers could be undefeated. Their offense ranks 5th in total yardage and sits just outside the top 10 in points per game. Add in the fact they have covered in 10 of their last 15 games as a home underdog, and you have a recipe for a frisky underdog performance. As our first pick for this matchup, the Virginia Cavaliers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have been regulars on the over this season, with neither dipping below 31 points in a game. The total is hanging around 59.5, and based on recent trends, this looks like another spot where both sides can pull their weight. Even if both offenses cool slightly, they have been efficient enough to keep the scoreboard moving. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. TCU versus Arizona State. The Friday night lights shine on the Big 12 this week as the TCU Horned Frogs travel to face the Arizona State Sun Devils in what should be one of the marquee games on the slate. TCU sits at 3-0 after dispatching Metroplex rival SMU last weekend, and they are quickly showing that they may be legitimate contenders in the conference once again. Arizona State enters at 3-1, their lone loss coming on the road against Mississippi State, and they're riding high after stealing a win at Baylor thanks to a last-second field goal. Momentum may be in the Sun Devils' corner, but the overall matchup favors the Frogs. Big picture, TCU has the look of a far more complete football team. Josh Hoover leads one of the most efficient passing attacks in the country, and he's been operating with precision all season. The Horned Frogs rank 6th nationally in passing offense, have tossed 11 touchdowns through the air, and have surpassed 280 passing yards in every game so far. That is a major mismatch against an Arizona State secondary that has been repeatedly gashed, allowing at least 242 passing yards in 3 of their 4 contests, while surrendering 8 passing touchdowns against just 2 interceptions. The Sun Devils were fortunate to survive Baylor, benefiting from 3 turnovers, and they're unlikely to be gifted those kinds of opportunities against Hoover. On offense, Arizona State is not nearly as dynamic as they were in 2024. The absence of Cam Scatabo looms large, and much of their attack revolves around quarterback Sam Leavitt forcing the ball to Jordan Tyson. Against TCU's defense, which has been stout against the run, holding opponents to just 107 yards per game and 3.2 yards per carry. That one-dimensional approach could spell trouble. It's worth noting that those numbers are inflated by Abilene Christian's heavy run game in a blowout loss, so the Frogs are even better than the stats suggest. TCU will be challenged by the road environment, and Arizona State always seems to make these games close, but the Frogs are simply the better team on both sides of the ball. As our first pick for this matchup, the TCU Horned Frogs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. TCU has scored at least 35 points in all 3 games this season, topping 40 twice, and they've hit 34 or more in 8 of their last 10 dating back to last year. Their games this season have produced combined totals of 62, 63, and 59 points. Arizona State has posted at least 27 points in 3 of their 4 outings, and while they've been part of 3 consecutive unders, that trend has more to do with opponent variance than their offensive capability. Their games have seen totals of 57, 44, 49, and 51. With TCU's offense clicking at such a high level and Arizona State capable of contributing enough to keep the pace high, this one has all the makings of a Friday night shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Houston versus Oregon State. The Houston Cougars are packing their bags and heading into the Pacific Northwest this Friday, eager to keep building momentum at the expense of Oregon State. Houston comes in off a strong 36-20 win at home 2 weeks ago, where they handled business as a short favorite. The extra rest should help, as this will be their first real trip away from Texas. The Cougars have already shown they can win on the road, thrashing Rice 35-9 earlier this month as a double-digit chalk. In fact, they have gone 2-0 straight up and against the number when laying double figures, including a season-opening shutout of Stephen F. Austin, one of the better football championship subdivision programs around. Things look a lot shakier for Oregon State. The Beavers did notch a 34-15 decision over Cal, but since then, it has been one stumble after another. Their closest brush with victory came in a 9-point loss to Fresno State. They even cashed a ticket last week in a rivalry tilt against Oregon, though that was only because oddsmakers hung an inflated number and they lost 41-7. More often than not, it has been ugly, with 3 of their 4 defeats coming by at least 19 points. That has left them without a win and without a cover to show for their first 4 outings. Turnovers tell a big part of the story here. Houston sits at the top of the national rankings with a +6 margin, while Oregon State is near the bottom at -4. The Cougars have snatched 5 interceptions already, and they should be able to bait Murphy, who has tossed 5 picks himself, into making another mistake or 2. Quarterback Connor Wegman has been far steadier for Houston, avoiding turnovers altogether, and their rushing attack looks like a poor matchup for a Beaver defense that has not held up well against the run. Oregon State may have played some competitive stretches, but repeated blowouts take a toll, and this team has been on the wrong side of lopsided scores too often. They are winless against both the spread and the standings, with all 3 losses to major conference foes coming by 3 touchdowns or more. Back-to-back drubbings of 30-plus points don't paint the picture of a squad about to turn the corner. Head coach Trent Bray's team is staring down another tough assignment, and the short week doesn't help. The Beavers come in after just 6 days off following that lopsided Civil War loss, while Houston is coming in rested and prepared after a 2-week layoff. Momentum and scheduling advantages both tilt toward the Cougars. While it is true that betting against the house favorite with heavy public backing can be risky, there are few reasons to trust Oregon State right now. The spread might feel hefty for a road favorite, but Corvallis no longer strikes fear into visiting teams. The days of Reser Stadium being a daunting home field edge have slipped, and this particular Beaver roster lacks the firepower to change that. Houston has topped 27 points in every game so far, and hitting that mark again should be enough to separate comfortably in this spot. As our first pick for this matchup, the Houston Cougars to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Houston's blueprint is simple but effective. They get defenses off the field on 3rd down, ranking 13th nationally in that category. They take the ball away. They establish the run and control the clock, holding possession nearly 33 minutes per game. Good for top 25 in the country. Those edges should carry over against an Oregon State side that is bottom 3rd in time of possession and struggles to sustain drives. Points look hard to come by for the Beavers. Their offense has been stagnant, averaging under 16 points per game and producing just over 317 yards per contest. Even their feature back, Anthony Hankerson, has managed only 3.5 yards per carry. That group runs into a Cougars defense yielding fewer than 10 points per game across their 3 contests. The matchup is daunting on both sides of the ball. There is one wrinkle, however. Houston has a huge showdown looming against 12th-ranked Texas Tech, and they may not be interested in running up the score in Corvallis. With the conference gauntlet ahead, the Cougars might lean on fundamentals, take the lead, and then ease off to avoid showing too much or risking injury. The likely outcome is a solid early cushion followed by a controlled finish. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.